Here's where I'm not happy about this. We just had Jalen Brunson leave our organization. We are not an organization that players want to go to. I'm not saying that we're a horrible organization, but we're not an organization where players are desperate to get to Dallas.
And now we're not an organization where players want to stay?
Right.
Like Jalen left.
So here's the deal about Christian Wood. I get that he has a lot to prove on a winning team. He played on the horse-ass Detroit Pistons and made a name for himself and then went to Houston, and he actually thought he was going to a good team. When Houston got him, they thought that they were going to have a competitive team. They didn't know at the time that James Harden was going to get fat, out of shape, and intentionally want to leave the Houston Rockets, but that was the case. And so Christian Wood really didn't get to play on a team that was competing in Houston. So 2 years of in Houston, very good numbers, very bad basketball team. Coming to the first team that looks like they're going to try to win 50-plus games, make the playoffs, and make some noise in the playoffs. And so the Mavericks are like, hey, you know what would be best is maybe we bring him off the bench as the scorer off the bench, and then the last 5 minutes, hopefully he's in the last 5 minutes of our basketball team playing, but we're not 100% sure yet. He's a free agent at the end of the year. You want to piss off a free agent right now? All right. For the first 25 games or so, I'm not starting. I have to prove myself. He does prove himself. He's 20-10. You're playing him the last 5 minutes, and you go, gosh, you know what maybe would be better for this team? Our second best player starts. Okay? And so you move him into the rotation, and everything's great, and he's doing great, and Christian Wood is averaging 20-10. He's a borderline all-star. He's not going to make it because he actually didn't even start the first 20 games of the season for you, let's just say. And then you know what Christian Wood says? He says a big F you! Mm-hmm. You know why? I'm a free agent now. I just averaged 20-10 on a 50-win team. And you know what? You wouldn't even start me. I had to prove it to you. I remember that. So you only want to offer me 4 for 80? Guess what? I'm going to go take 4 for 110 with this other organization because they want to start me and they want to feature me more. I'm not saying it's right.
Didn't Brunson get offended by the offer that they offered him before too?
I don't know if offended is the right word because I think he was willing to accept at one point around the Dorian Finney-Smith contract. Okay. He was willing to accept 4 for 55, but the Mavericks said, we're not offering you that.
Okay.
So that's kind of the story from what I understand there. And I'm not saying that could happen. You know what? Everybody'd say, well, Christian Wood needs to have thicker skin. Christian Wood needs to prove himself. And you know what? If it happens that way, don't get mad at us that we wanted to win and we thought our best starting lineup was this to start the year. But I'm just telling you how players think. Christian Wood will use this as motivation to prove himself to the Dallas Mavericks, 1, hopefully. And then 2, to prove himself to the NBA because he's going to be a free agent. And he might go, hey, you know what you guys thought of me? You guys didn't even think I was a top 5 player on your team. And the Mavericks might say, no, that's not the case. We just thought that it would be best if Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith and Dinwiddie started to start the game. And then we had JaVale McGee to start the first 4 to 5 minutes for picks and alley-oops and defense. And then you would come in off the bench and then you would play the last 7 minutes of the first quarter with Luka. And then I don't care. I don't give 2 S's about you now because you tried to destroy me in free agency by bringing me off the bench. Because what if this happens? What if Christian Wood does come off the bench all year? And he is pretty good, but not great. Does Christian Wood feel offended that he wasn't able to get the right minutes and the right role to be an all-star type player? And he's like, I'm not signing with you guys. You're going to use me as a 6th man. I'm going to go to name the team, and they're going to use me as their 2nd or 3rd best player in their starting rotation. So I just don't think, is it worth, let me ask you this, is it worth not starting Christian Wood to possibly piss him off so much that he doesn't even really consider you as a major option next year in free agency? Is it worth that? Is it worth that?
If I'm Jason Kidd, I'm probably doing the same thing because I know, aside from Dinwiddie, that's where it kind of comes into like questionable. Because what I'm going to do if I'm creating my offense with Dinwiddie out, I like Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith on the court starting together. I really did like that. Now, but there's not another ball handler if I don't have Dinwiddie out there. So it does make sense to me if I'm Jason Kidd saying I can actually get a lot of points from this guy off the bench as our secondary guy, and it's going to be helpful. And maybe at some point we do find a good role with him and Luka together where we do have them on the court as starters together because we can benefit by having Bullock or Dorian Finney-Smith, or maybe even going back to taking Dinwiddie off the court and having him come off the bench, depending on how that goes. I totally see where you're going with this. If he's willing to buy in, it's going to be helpful. If he's mad about it, it's never going to be a good thing. Right, Reggie?
Sure. And I think that, Corey, you laid out, and I think a lot of people understand the actual on-court basketball things, but this is why we talk about coaching in this era is a lot managing personalities and learning how to, because, I mean, chemistry matters. You're not just dealing with the X's and O's or stat sheets. One of the things that Mike gets upset about when we talk about folks that are just only focused on numbers, you're dealing with real human people here. And so, yes, this is a guy who wanted to join your team for no other reason than he wanted an opportunity to play in a big stage with a good team. So, like, you're going to have to, even if you think the right basketball move is to bring him off the bench, you're going to need to make sure that he's happy with that and sell it to him. Whether you tell him that, well, you may not be starting, but what's more important is the closing five, and you're definitely in our closing five. Or, you're going to get your minutes, and we're still going to, like, give him reassurances in other ways. But managing those personalities, that's the job of a coach, particularly in the NBA, where the NBA has so many big, visible personalities now. That's a large part of what you're doing as well.
I see what you're saying, Mike, for sure. That's the one thing. But if he buys in, he's part of this team, which the Mavericks group of players, aside from KP, have been pretty good at buying in and being team players. Hopefully, look, you can get that.